And our conversation with State Representative Jim Struzzi is brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Representative Struzzi, good morning.
Good morning, Todd.
Good to have you with us here again as we talk about the governor coming out yesterday with a very harsh criticism of Republicans in Harrisburg. He called them actually Harrisburg Republicans for pursuing state constitutional amendment. In fact, two of them, one having to do with House Bill 38 and one that we're more familiar with, which is House Bill 55. And let's start there. First of all, talking about your overall reaction to the governor's criticisms yesterday.
I think it's very disappointing and unfortunate that the governor chose to take a position like this, Todd. I can tell you, just getting back from our first full week in session, the House has new Democratic leadership. I think that on both sides of the aisle, we realize that the rhetoric has to stop, that the partisan politics have to stop, and we need to work together to move forward, to do the good work that Pennsylvania residents put us there to do. And this kind of dialogue that the governor's putting out there, these kind of statements, they don't help that. I think people are done with this type of public policy discussion where he's putting things out there, and in reality, these bills just came out of the state government committee yesterday. They haven't even been on the floor yet for debate. So to take this kind of position and ultimately, both of these are constitutional amendments that will be decided, if they make it through, they will be decided by Pennsylvania voters. So basically he's saying that we shouldn't give people the right to make these decisions on their own.
Governor's assertion, though, says in his mind, in his opinion, it is Republicans who are setting this agenda and the General Assembly setting the agenda, and the voters are being taken away from the equation, that they're not being given a choice.
But that's not how constitutional amendments work. I understand what the governor's trying to do, and I think it's unfortunate because really, and it's not my opinion that matters here or the governor's, it's the people who will be voting on these constitutional amendments. So I encourage people to do their own research, go out there and find the information on House Bill 38 and House Bill 55 and then make your own decisions, because if these do make it through, as I said, they're going to be on the ballot either in May or November, and the Pennsylvanians will have the opportunity to decide how they want to move forward.
Going to talk about those two House bills and what they would do. First, though, I want to ask you about something that the governor threw in at the very end of his comments yesterday, and that was that the whole process by which we amend the state constitution is flawed and needs to change. What do you say in response to something like that?
I don't really understand, because the Constitution can only be amended by a referendum on the ballot. To me, that's how it should be. If you're doing something so fundamental as changing the Constitution, then Pennsylvania residents should have a say in that. So I don't really understand the thinking in that last paragraph in the statement. As I said, Todd, ultimately, I think we need to stop with this sort of this bickering back and forth. It's being done through the media, basically, as how the governor operates through press releases. Because I can tell you that being on the House floor, working with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, that we have a fresh start right now. We know that Pennsylvania residents want a fresh start, that they want us to work together. We have a lot of serious work to do, a lot of hard work to do, and these types of press releases and statements like this don't help us move forward. And I'm not just saying that from a Republican standpoint. I'm saying it from a General Assembly standpoint, because I know a lot of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle. I knew the new minority leader, and the statements that were made last week as we were voting on our rolls from both sides. There has to be a bipartisan approach to tackling these big issues that affect Pennsylvania.
Okay, House Bill 55. Let's tackle that one first. That's the one we're most familiar with. That is the one about emergency declarations. Currently, that that power is strictly in the governor's hands. The legislature wants a say in it, and so 21-day period by which the governor can declare an emergency, but after that, the legislature can say thumbs up or thumbs down, extend it or halt it. The governor, obviously, very much against that proposal. Tell me about it.
Yes, then this passed last session. It would have to pass again this session, as with both of these bills, to be on the ballot in May. Essentially, House Bill 55, as you said, would allow the governor to initial the first disaster declaration, which would last for 21 days or 3 weeks. That would give him ample time to respond. And then the purpose of a disaster declaration is really for environmental emergencies and things like that. The pandemic has gone on for far too long as a disaster declaration, and really, I think that the voice of Pennsylvania residents, by not allowing the legislature to be involved in some of these decisions, particularly now here we are, going on almost a year of this pandemic. You've taken the voice of Pennsylvania residents out of the equation. So I say again, if people like the way things have been handled, if they like that the governor has this ultimate power, whether it's Governor Wolf or any governor, you can make that decision when you go to the ballot either in May or November to either approve this constitutional amendment or not. So if you like the way that's been handled, if you think the governor should have this ultimate power, then vote no to change the Constitution. If you don't like it, then vote yes. It's as simple as that. But clearly, we have to have a balance of power, and it has been demonstrated throughout this pandemic response that has not occurred. Obviously, this has been uncharted territory, but I think we learn as we go, and clearly some decisions that were made should have been made more universally, not unilaterally.
House Bill 38, the appellate judges bill, which would split the vote on appellate judges, that would be Commonwealth Court, Superior Court, Supreme Court, split it to district votes rather than statewide votes.
Yeah, my understanding of House Bill 38, and I believe it was House Bill 196 in the previous session, is that it would break the state into different districts, and then judges would come from those different districts because as it stands right now, most of the judges come from either Allegheny or Philadelphia County. So that's the thinking behind this. The way I read it is that it would give more of a balanced approach to where judges come from so that all areas of Pennsylvania would be represented. And again, as I said, if people like the way judges are elected now, if this comes on the ballot, they can vote no to change the Constitution. If they want to change the way judges are elected, they can vote yes. So I think this is the process that I think involves all Pennsylvania residents, Todd, and I think that's good. I mean, people should have a say in how these things occur.
All right, we're talking with State Representative Jim Struzzi. While I have you on the line today, as I said to Senator Pittman last hour, today is the last day for public comment on the RGGI resolution and whether or not the state should join it. As I told Senator Pittman, there is an environmental group out there that is claiming that it is overwhelmingly turning in favor of joining RGGI. I don't know if you agree that is the way the consensus is going. But your thoughts on the last day of public comment and where this whole argument moves forward?
Well, I think there definitely is an organized effort out there by some of these groups to get Pennsylvania into RGGI. Pretty sure most of those groups are not located in Pennsylvania. As we have said from the beginning, Todd, the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative is not going to be good for this Commonwealth. We will lose jobs, we will lose tax dollars, we will lose our energy industry. And really, there's a lot of debate about whether or not this carbon tax would even have any impact on global warming or climate change. There really isn't clear evidence that it will make any difference, but we do know that it will hurt our economy in a devastating manner. So I encourage anyone that's listening from Indiana County or wherever you are, if you care about our local economy, if you care about our local tax base, there's still time to submit those comments. We've been putting that information out there. I circulated a letter through the House this week. We will be submitting that as part of testimony today. I believe we have over 75 signatures on that letter from my colleagues from around this Commonwealth who don't want us to enter into RGGI, not only because of the devastating impacts on the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but because of the approach that the governor took by unilaterally deciding to enter RGGI without first going through the General Assembly. All
right, Representative Struzzi, thanks so much for visiting with us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Todd.